Hey everybody, we're out here at Cisco Live and I ran into Dan here, and now you've been working the SOC at the thing. Now across from us is the NOC,
Right.
but making it all secure is the team over here in the SOC. And now we're using our own products to make the conference secure. Can you give me a little bit of idea about what all the technology are we using to do that?
Absolutely. So, as many of you know, that Cisco had acquired Splunk a couple of years ago, and we've been working diligently to be able to bring the best of both technologies together. Now we have the best of network telemetry, the firewall data. We have the ability to be able to bring in Cisco's XDR to be able to help with the Agentic SOC capabilities, and then we've been leveraging that with enterprise security and a lot of the other um, Splunk security products like Attack Analyzer, a lot of our agentic AI capabilities that we bring to it. The Triage Agent's been really fundamental for us as well.
Yeah, so you're gathering a lot of information. Kind of what's going into this. Is it wireless data? Is it network data? What are you actually looking at here in the SOC?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of different subnets. We have a public Wi-Fi area. We also have the show floor, both wired and wireless as well. And so we've been monitoring everything from the NOC infrastructure throughout the entire Cisco Live event. And so with that data, we're able to see a number of different activities, everything from normal network traffic to be able to work with the SOC to be able to keep things fast and efficient. But we also, on the security operations side, we've been seeing a lot of, different types of malware attacks and a lot of other things happening on the client devices for the guest Wi-Fi that we're trying to be able to help them, take care of as well.
Yeah. So what are some of these surprising things that you're actually finding over here?
Yeah, you would be surprised. So as of today, there's been over 600 unique users who have had passwords sent in the clear, a lot of them for email servers, applications, and things like that. So the good news is that with our Agentic SOC, we automatically detect when we see clear passwords on the network. Normally, we can grab a username, an email address, something like that that's been sent in the clear as well. We have an Agentic Triage Agent that automatically scrapes all that data, anonymizes it. We send it over to our SOAR playbooks, and we contact those users out of band from the Security Operations Center, letting them know that their email has been potentially compromised. They've been sending their passwords into clear. So we're kind of acting as kind of like a guardian angel here at the Security Operations Center, having all of our guests who are using the public Wi-Fi to be able to know that we're keeping them a little bit safer than they were outside of these four walls.
Yeah. So you got your clear text passwords, but you tell me some other interesting things going on with some crypto mining and
Yes.
some BitTorrent. So what are you seeing there?
So there's been some interesting things. We've seen just, hundreds of examples of command and control activity with malware. We've been seeing a lot of crypto mining. We've been seeing a lot of attacks against some infrastructure, things like DNS servers, firewall data, things like that. There's been a lot of compromised devices with active connections to malicious websites. And so we've been trying to work with the SOC hand in hand to block those connections so that the users' devices will be safe when they're on our networks and reduce the chance of spread. So it's been really interesting to be able to see how that's all come to fruition.
And something interesting that we talked about, said you pretty much automated all the level one stuff with
Yes.
things like triage agent, SOAR playbooks. What all has gone into that?
Yeah, so our triage agent and our Splunk SOAR have really taken the lion's share of that automation capability. Day one, when we came in here, we tell all of our customers about the capabilities of Cisco and Splunk, the full agentic AI that we have for our SOC. But we're actually leveraging all those technologies. We're actually, eating our own food, if you will. So we've been leveraging that to outsource the entire tier one. Like literally everyone on day one was promoted to tier two and tier three. All of the low level investigation is completely automated by the triage agent. SOAR playbooks are out contacting users out of band when their devices appear to be compromised, sending passwords into clear. So we don't have to do any of those things. We can focus on the higher level threats and make sure we keep them, safe in the process.
Now, you're out there talking about Splunk a lot, and you shared with me this is the first time you worked a show floor SOC. So
Yes.
been your experience kind of getting hands on and seeing what's going on in the show floor here?
Yeah, it's been incredible. So I've been at Splunk, it's almost 11 years now. from the SE side as well as the security strategist and specialist side. So I get to see the technology, I get to play with it, use it all the time to help our customers be able to achieve all their mission critical goals in security. But it's totally different to actually work in the SOC defending against live attacks with live data. And it's just been really eye opening. I've learned a lot. I can see the magnitude of the amount of attacks that happen, regardless of the type of show. You know, if you're at something like a security show like a DEF CON or a Black Hat, you expect a lot of shenanigans on the network. But when you're at a legitimate conference and it's more IT and security focused, especially with all the AI and things like that, it's amazing to me to see just the amount of activity that there is. It's the most network activity we've had at any Cisco Live to date.
You told me a lot of really cool things earlier. So one of them you talked about with doing some PCAP captures, Zeek format, going into attack analyzer.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Absolutely. So we partner with a company called Endace to help us with the PCAP capturing. That way we have the full network telemetry to be able to go in and make things to help with our investigations, kind of replay the attacks, look at the protocol analysis to help us with that. But what it's doing that's a little bit different than traditionally is not only is it grabbing all that full PCAP data for us to use, allow us to export it into Wireshark and things effortlessly, but it's actually able to export it into Zeek log formats. And it's automatically stripping out IP addresses from destinations, URLs, and sending them into our Splunk attack analyzer to automatically investigate these to see if any of them are malicious. The ones that are malicious get kicked back into Splunk as an alert, and then we can actually see it inside the SOC and be able to, go through and take a look at our connection logs from the firewall to see if it's already being blocked or not. And if it's not, we can escalate it up to the NOC to get it taken care of.
And one more thing, just to wrap up, said we're doing this at Cisco Live, but we're protecting other events like the Olympics as an example.
Yes.
So give me some more information about how we're taking what we learned here and expanding it to other venues.
Yes. So Cisco and Splunk take all the best of breed technologies that we have between the two companies, and we've put it into what's called a SOC in a box that travels around the world. We take care of Black Hat, RSA. We have a SOC here at Cisco Live. We're going to be working with the LA Olympics in 2028. So there's a whole team behind me who will be working the Olympics for the full-fledged SOC. That one's a little unique because not only do you have to protect the actual Olympic event and the Wi-Fi and the infrastructure there, but even things in the surrounding area like water, sewer, city infrastructure, even things like Uber and Lyft and things like that, to be able to make sure they're not getting compromised on the public networks and stuff like that. So we actually have hotlines established with a lot of these organizations, the critical infrastructure, the city management, and things like that, because a cyber attack could easily disrupt the Olympics. Things like Black Hat in Asia, out of Singapore, the one that's coming up in London, later this year is another one that we'll be working with full SOC as well.
Very cool, man. It's just really eye-opening to know what all's going into the NOC, but then securing it over here in the SOC to make sure everybody at Cisco Live is safe, man.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.